Hello and good morning, friends of the French Foreign Legion. Hello, English-speaking community. I am greeting you.
Quand on a bouffé son pognon ou claqué pour un coup de cochon.
So, at the end of the first week, we headed by train south direction Aubagne. And the train stopped here and there and to take other applicants from other cities, you know. And when we arrived in Aubagne at Quartier Vienno, this is the mother house of the French Foreign Legion, we have been about 20 or 25 applicants. I remember very well the first thing I saw when I crossed the gate to Quartier Vienno, the first thing I saw was the Monument aux Morts de la Légion étrangère. Yeah? This is the monument of honor of the French Foreign Legion, and it's about 80 tons of Legion's history. I was just stunned. Great stuff. Yeah? So they took us immediately to a kind of isolated building, yeah, surrounded by a wire fence. And they gave us BDU, battle dress uniforms, old battle dress uniforms, maybe from Algeria war. And we had to the left and to the right yellow collars, kind of yellow epaulets. And they gave us also a green beret, but without insignia, yeah? Without distinction. And the first week we passed all the tests, examinations. Started from with a medical test, and they made a medical check-up from head to toe very thoroughly. Next day we had psychological or psychomotor examination or psychomotor test. Next day we had all the sport tests, starting with the test Cooper. Test Cooper, that means they gave you time. It's a run against the time. They gave you 12 minutes. And within these 12 minutes, you have to run as fast and as quick as you can, and as far as you can, you know. So normally required is 2,700 meters, but everybody of us did about 3,100 meters. So it was good for everybody. And then they asked us to do push-ups, pull-ups, sit-ups, knee bends. But not do 20 of this, do 40 of this, do 30 of this. No. They ask us to do a maximum of each kind of them, you know? Do a maximum of pull-ups, a maximum of sit-ups, a maximum of knee bends. And this was a hard day, believe me. Yeah? And with this, the first week was over, it was done, you know? And the second week, we received green collars. Not everybody of us. And the gentleman who didn't receive green collars, who stayed yellow, finish, game over, right? So, and then in the middle of the second week, we had a thing we all feared. We had to go to the Gestapo. And Gestapo stands for Geheime Staatspolizei. It's kind of secret state police, reference to SS and Nazi regime, you know. And this is kind of heavy cross-interrogatory. And I was sitting there in the office in front of an officer, and he asked me everything. And believe me, you shouldn't lie to this guy. Yeah? And he asked me about things I have done in my past, you know, bad things maybe. And and I was afraid because, and I told him the story. In Germany, I lived close to a highway. And once, it was nighttime, we heard a loud crash. We opened the window, went outside of the house, and there was a big truck, a big brewery truck, beer truck, who had an accident just in front of our house, maybe 100 meters away. And over the field, you could see beer barrels and beer cans and beer bottles, whatever. And my mother sent me out with a wheelbarrow and told me, hey, you get one of these beer barrel at home. Okay, I knew that I have done something was not correct, but I was young. I was about 12 or 13 years old. And the next day, the police came to each house close to the highway and picked up all the beer barrels, you know, from everybody. So, and I told this to the Legions officer, and he was just smiling and said, "Hey, it's okay, welcome." And this was great for me. It was great for me. So, there was one story I was afraid also, because I was sitting in the foyer in the refectoire, and we had a meal, and in front of me there was sitting an American applicant. He was a small guy, but we both, we never had the same opinion. He was kind of stupid, he was kind of crazy, I don't know. Maybe he was a little bit weird in his head, but once we had a dispute, and he attacked me with a knife, with an opinel, you know. Maybe he was a good knife fighter, but I was a good boxer at this time, so I knocked him out. And in the evening time, the sergeant de semaine, you know, he asked me, "Hey, Thomas, come on, tell me what happened in lunchtime." And I told him the story. Yeah? But I was afraid that they will pull me out. They will send me home immediately. But it wasn't like this. In the contrary, for me, I think it was a good thing, because in the eyes of the sergeant de semaine, I saw kind of acceptance. I felt that what I have done to knock out the American guy was kind of test for me. Maybe, maybe not. Okay, so what happened in the third week? In the third week, we already wear the red epaulets, the red collars. Normally, red collar, that means that you can stay in the French Foreign Legion. But the last decision is up to council. And the council is held by French Legions staff officers. So the aim of the officers' council held by the Legions officers is to decide of our future. Okay, he can stay. No, he must leave. And for my case, they took a favorable decision, so I could stay in the French Foreign Legion. For me, it was done. I was in, and I was so grateful, and I was a lucky guy. And my next adventure is boot camp of the French Foreign Legion in Castelnaudary. Don't miss it.
Quand c'est bien quand le gendarme est le premier dans le combat, que sa bravoure est légendaire et qu'en baroute il n'en craint pas.
Let's go to the French Foreign Legion's boot camp.